Calculator is not going to solve all your life problems. All these years ago, when you were doing sine x equals zero point 0.5 or sine theta equals zero point 0.5, to find x or theta, shift sign on your calculator and it will give you a number, x equals 30 degrees. And those were the good old days. Now, you're leveling up. You're trying to find all the solutions. And the question will say this, and it will give you something called a range. And usually when we used to see between 0 and 360, we turn a blind eye. We don't care. We just want to get to the question. But this actually in these questions is very, very important. Now, understand it a lot better by looking at an actual sine graph, okay? So here's my sine graph. I've got my x and I've got my y. It goes from 1 to -1. This is actually handy. Sine is so it starts from 0 and it goes up, down, and it goes the same on the other side. Now the values here are 0, 90, 180, 270, 360, and it goes on and on and on. And this one is negative 90, negative 180, negative 270, negative 360, and it goes on and on. Now, why am I even bothering to write this sine graph? Because look over here. If this is the graph of y equals sine x, and I look at when sine x is zero point 0.5, so that's 0 and 1, 0 0.5 is somewhere over there, right? Now, if I wanted to find it from the graph, all I would do is just go across from zero point 0.5 until I hit the graph, and then I drop down and it tells me that my x value is 30 degrees. And that's why I get on my calculator, okay? But the calculator is not going to solve all your life problems. So now you're going to go again to zero point 0.5, and wherever it hits a part of the graph, that's also a value of x for sine x equals zero point 0.5. So look, if I go at zero point 0.5 and I go across over here, I hit the line and I go down. These graphs are identical. So I know if that's 30 on that side, this is going to be 30 going that way. So this is going to be 150 degrees. So another value for x is 150 degrees. Now, if I do the same going backwards, I go zero point 0.5. I've got more values actually. If I go to that side, I go here until I hit the graph, I'm going to get a value over there, negative 180 plus 30. So at negative 210, I also get another value for x when sine x equals zero point 0.5. Right, so all of these are values and it could go on and on. Should I stop there? So these can go on forever and ever, okay? So that really explains why you can have more than one value for x. Now, if you wanted to double check, you can literally just put it onto a calculator. If I put sine 30, which is one of my values for x, I will get 0 0.5. If I put sine 150, I will get, don't know calculator, 0 0.5. If I put sine 210, again, and I put on my calculator, you will get 0 0.5, okay? Because they're all exactly the same, they're all on the same line, okay? Do you see why you've got more than one value for x? If I was looking at values between 0 to 360, I'm only looking at this part of the graph here. From 0 to 360 cuts off over there, this section. So my values for x are 30 and 150. So I don't actually need the negative 210. If the range, or if they told me, actually, you know what, we want to get the values from negative 360 and 360. So we're looking at this whole entire section from negative 360 to 360. So if I do that, I'm going to have to include the negative 210 and whatever that value is over there. So I end up with four values, okay? Negative 180 x to 360. So from negative 180, I'm looking all the way from here till 360. So what values do I have that are between that range? Just the 30 and 150, because negative 210 outside, we don't care about that. If they say from 0, x, between 0 and 180 degrees, and I look over there, my values are going to be from 0 to 180, so I'll only accept the 30 and the 150. So do you see what I'm doing? The range tells you what values I need, whether I need to go further or whether I just need the two values and I'm good and I'm done. Good, good, good. Dun, dun, dun. When y was zero point 0.5 or when sine x was zero point 0.5, my values were 30, 150, 390, and minus 210, right? If I had x is negative zero point 0.5, and there's a reason why I'm showing you sine x when it's positive and sine x when it's negative. Now, if I go to the negative part, let's pick a different color. Let's go for blue, and I go to negative zero point 0.5, in the same way, I can find my values from the graph. Because at negative zero point 0.5, I just keep going all the way along until I hit the line. And then I go up to see whatever value that's going to be. So I'm guessing that part was 30, that was 180, so that's 210. So when sine x, if I put this on my calculator, I'll get negative 30. And how do I know? From the graph, because if I look on the negative side, I go all the way there, it touches there, and that's 30 degrees. Now, one of my values is 210. I can find this second value in the same way. So I'm at negative zero point 0.5. I go all the way across until I hit the line and then go up. So this value over here would be 330, I believe. So 330 is another value. So all of these are values for x. If I go to that side, again, I go all the way there and I go up, and then it'll give me my fourth value. Now, if you wanted to, like, double check, you can literally just put it onto a calculator. You see why you've got more than one value for x? You don't want to really be going and drawing graphs unless you really want to, but I mean, it's kind of long. And that's where the quadrant rule comes in. Quadrant rule gives you all those values, but without having to do that squiggly, trying to figure out what is just too messy. It's not Ronaldo, it's messy. So let's go on to the next one, the quadrant rule. Oh, pen fell.